guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah and let's recap and review Real Housewives of New Jersey. This is season 14, episode 14. So let's get into it. All right, y'all bear with me. It has been a very challenging week for me and I am just very irritated. And I have tried to film this video like several times because I thought this whole entire reunion was dumb as hell. I thought it was so stupid and this was a waste of time, which added to my irritation that I was already feeling before I even watched the show. And so I'm trying to record this without being nasty. And every time I say something, I'm like, ooh, Leah, that wasn't nice. And so give me a moment. Okay. So like I said, I thought this was stupid. I did not expect them just to have like a legitimate watch party. I was under the impression that they were either going to do where they had Andy talk to each girl and like have like, you know, one-on-ones and ask questions that a lot of fans wanted to know and answer, or do somewhat similar to the after show where they do have them in separate rooms with their little cliques, but then we still get questions that fans want to know. But no, they actually had a watch party. And I was like, this is dumb. This is so stupid. Like, y'all could have just ended with the last episode. Like, why is this how y'all wanted to close out the season? Or this era of Real Housewives of New Jersey. Like someone online had a good point. If they forced Real Housewives of Potomac to have a reunion, and that was something with that type of energy they had over there, I don't get why they couldn't make Real Housewives of New Jersey do it. Unless y'all all are just violent and they were worried that one of y'all was going to run up and, you know, hit a little pop. But I'm like, I feel like they could have sat down and had a reunion. Like, this is the season, like someone said, where there's enough to talk about where we could have had like a decent reunion. Or if not, I also saw somebody suggest that they did what Real Housewives of Atlanta did during the pandemic, as well as Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, where they had them do a Zoom reunion. I feel like that would have been way more entertaining than this, in my opinion. Because this, again, to me was dumb. Like, I was like, nobody added any new commentary. Honestly, a lot of the things that they were saying were very predictable. So when I was like, yeah, I can see you saying that. Like, just dumb. Just dumb. Let's talk about it. Honestly, I'm not going to be talking about everything, just the things that stood out to me. So we already know the girls are separated. You got Margaret's room and you got Teresa's room. In Teresa's room, you have Dolores, Jennifer, Aiden, and Jackie. Dolores was going between rooms, but she started off in Teresa's room. In Margaret's room, you have Danielle, Jennifer Fessler, Melissa, and Rachel. And so the only two people that everyone was like, oh, I wonder which room they're going to pick is Dolores and Jennifer Fessler, because honestly, they both were the ones that were trying to bring everybody together, and the spats that they had with everybody else wasn't that deep for people to know that they like drew a line in the sand type energy. So it opens up and Jennifer Fessler walks in and, you know, she says hi to everybody and she's in Margaret's room. So everyone's like, oh my God, hey girl. And so she walks in, she gives a general hello, but she kisses Margaret on the cheek. And I think she does the same with Melissa, but she doesn't do it with Danielle and Rachel. So then Danielle makes a slick comment at Jennifer Fessler, and Jennifer Fessler's like, girl, I ain't even put my purse down and sat down. If I needed to be in a room full of snakes, I can go to the other ones because they are a lot nicer. And I was like, it was crazy to me that nobody clocked that she called everybody in this entire group snakes and nobody said anything. So then she sat down, and then what's it called? Danielle was like, so how you feeling? Like, and Danielle really wanted Jennifer Fessler to apologize or at least acknowledge the fact that her defending Jennifer Aiden was wrong because of the fight situation. Because at the time, Jennifer Fessler was really riding hard for Jennifer Aiden because she didn't see Jennifer push Danielle, and Jennifer never said that she pushed her. So Jennifer Fessler was like, now watching back, I completely agree. Jennifer was in the wrong. And I get Danielle. She wants people to acknowledge that she was right. She was vindicated, that like all the harassment that she was given from, you know, fans Teresa and Jennifer's were wrong for what they did. And a lot of people did jump ship because people were going with that narrative that that Danielle attacked Jennifer first. And then when it stopped, when we saw the actual footage, people switched up. It like divided. Some people were still on Jennifer's side. Other people were on Danielle's side. But my thing about Danielle is Danielle be giving that rah-rah energy, but then when somebody hit her in the chest, she always run into the bathroom to cry. Like, that's annoying to me. That is worse to me than people who y'all say got slick mouths and they can't fight. I don't like people who can fight, but you can't verbally spar with somebody. Like, if all you can do is get physical, but because honestly, physical scars heal, emotional ones don't. So I'm like, I commend somebody who can emotionally scar somebody versus somebody who can physically harm someone. That's just my thoughts. But I really do feel like that's like, she just annoys me. Danielle annoys me, especially now figuring out when it comes. Well, I'll talk about it then. But, you know, they sit down. So we then have this moment where Rachel and Jennifer Fessler end up like basically reconciling, where Rachel ends up saying, you know, I felt like I was in this friendship a lot more than you now looking back at it. And they bring up the whole like her hugging on Teresa and all of that stuff. And Jennifer Fessler is like, girl, me hugging her wasn't me like, pushing you to the side. Like, of course I had your back and all of this stuff. So then they both hug each other. I thought this was dumb as hell because I do not understand how Rachel put so much expectations on a relationship that was only a year old. And I'm saying this as someone who used to do that. And now when I look at it, I'm just like, that's stupid. Because I used to expect so much from people, especially when it came to my friendships, because I feel like I'm a good friend. But then I realized that, like, if they haven't proven themselves to me, then they don't deserve the type of friendship or the type of friend that I can be. And vice versa. If I haven't proven myself to them, then I shouldn't expect much, and they shouldn't expect much out of me. And I feel like Rachel was expecting so much out of Jennifer Fessler, and I'm like, y'all just got here. And I don't really think anything that Jennifer Fessler did was very like, what's the word? Was shady in any ways towards Rachel. Like, she spoke to Teresa. Like, Teresa ain't done nothing to her. So why can't she speak to her? And the thing about it is, like, the rules are somewhat different because they are filming a reality show. Like, yeah, if it was in the real world, you don't expect your friends to maintain a relationship with somebody you got issues with like that. But y'all are on a reality TV show, and she's one of the main focal points of the show, and Jennifer Fessler is trying to get that check because I think I've heard that when it comes to friends of, they only get a certain number of, they only get paid per episode, whereas I think when it comes to now like Housewives, because I used to hear that they all get paid episode by episode, but I think now it's like you get paid a flat rate for the whole entire season. I'm thinking I saw somebody having a conversation about that. But yeah, I don't think it was that deep for them to even have issues. I don't even know if they're still talking to each other because I think I saw an article where Jennifer Fessler was like she hadn't spoken to Rachel since the season had wrapped. But I think that was before they had this whole like reunion, not reunion. Just dumb. So the next scene we have is them actually looking at the first scene of episode 13. So it's the whole situation that happened between Dolores and Margaret. And what I felt is what I felt, but like, and I think that's why I feel like this is stupid because it's not a new episode. So everything that I said in my last review is how I still feel now. Like, you know, so they're rehashing the whole thing with Dolores. And what I think is what Margaret is saying is true, but I also can see where Dolores is coming from. I absolutely believe what Margaret's saying, that she did invite Dolores to come to her house and do the whole reunion review with the rest of the cast. But I also believe that Dolores feels like Margaret is trying to paint her to be a certain type of way when it comes to like her relationship with Teresa. But we see everyone reacting to it. Everyone is surprised at how angry Dolores got, you know, looking like she about to stroke out. You know, you got Melissa being like, damn. And Margaret being like, yeah, she was pissed. Then you have Teresa being like, I ain't never seen you that mad. Also, in that scene, you know how they brought up about how Dolores said that that Teresa says Teresa feels like Margaret is like a collaborator with the ex, and Margaret said, yeah, I hadn't talked to the guy, and Margaret is holding on to that she hadn't spoken to the ex until after season 13's reunion, and Teresa is sitting next to Jackie being like, she's lying. She's like, we got the proof. And Jackie's like, yeah, she has been talking to that girl. Because Teresa was like, doesn't she talk to her? Or hasn't she talked to her before then? And Jackie was like, yeah, she's talked to her before then. So everyone is like still surprised at how angry Dolores got. You got Dolores holding up like a cloth over her face, like, oh my gosh. Like she can't believe that she was freaking out like that. Jennifer Aiden is like, I can understand you're angry because you feel like she's painting you out to be like a liar. So then next thing you know, Dolores leaves the room and she goes upstairs to Margaret's place. And so everyone's like, Dolores, happy to see her, hugging up on her. And then Melissa jumps in and she's like, what did Melissa say? Oh, Melissa's like, girl, why were you so mad? Like, you called her a see you next Tuesday. What she did? She called her, it was either she called her a lying effing see you next Tuesday or a effing lying see you next Tuesday. And so Dolores ends up saying, like, we both remember this differently and we just gonna leave it at that, basically. And Margaret agrees. And I honestly think Margaret's opponent when it comes to like knowing her tea is Dolores. Like, if Dolores and Margaret ever fell out and Dolores wanted to empty the clip on Margaret, I would believe most of the stuff Dolores would say about Margaret, and vice versa. Because although Dolores is friends with Teresa and they've been friends since they were like 15 or like 16 years old, you can clearly see that Dolores is a lot closer to Margaret, and she respects Margaret a lot more than she does Teresa. So I do know that they have probably shared a lot of information with each other, and I think that's why Margaret is just kind of leaving it at that, because I do feel like Margaret could press the issue a lot more if she felt like it, but she's not for some reason, which I feel like she just wants to hold on to that relationship. So we then see Dolores, I think she either went back downstairs after hanging out with the girls, and then they played the Louis scene where he said he wished suffering for Margaret and her son. And everybody was appalled by what he said, pretty much. Margaret is like, see, that's the type of person he is, because I would never do that. And I said, I don't know about that, Margaret. You just smart enough not to say it on camera. But then you have like Melissa saying, see, when you do that type of stuff, it look at their life. Because we know Teresa's going through hell with Louis. Like, Larry the Lobster is taking that lady through hell. But unfortunately, Teresa is so like traditional that she will not tell anybody. Like, she's going to hold that in and hold that to her chest until the very end. Like, I would be surprised if Teresa divorces Louis, but it would probably be the best thing for her. But I feel like she will probably give this marriage at least a good 5, maybe 6 years, and then she gonna leave that man, because he brings too much chaos to her. And I really do think after all the things that Teresa has been through with being in prison, you know, her ex-husband getting deported, her both of her parents dying, and then her not having a relationship with Joe anymore, I do think she wants some type of peace in her life. It's something, and that man don't give it to her. So then next thing you know, we go back downstairs and you see Dolores pretty much check Teresa and be like, that wasn't right. And even Jennifer Aiden was like, yeah, no. And Teresa's like, don't defend her, Dolores. Don't defend Margaret in front of me. You're not going to do that. And Dolores is like, Teresa, no. If I could still be cool with Louis after the things he said about my own, like, you know, the things I've heard he say about my child and all this stuff, and I not get mad and all that stuff and things of that nature. And then they flash back to the reunion where Dolores was getting pissed. I remember that Dolores was pissed that Frank even brought up little Frank's name when it came to like the whole like Frankie working for Louis. And I guess Louis did say some disparaging things about her son or something, or she just wanted to dead it real quick, because you have Frank over there saying, I'm not saying nothing unless he says something. But Dolores was like, don't nobody need to talk about my child. That's what we're not doing. But she did check Teresa and pretty much told Teresa, like, girl, that wasn't right for him to say. That was not right for him to say. And my thing, Teresa was just like, I got what he meant. He's not a bad person. And it's like, yeah, no. And we know that now, because I talked about it in the Spicy Corn on the last episode review. Louis apologized for it, but the damage is done. Your reputation is already shitty to a lot of people. A lot of people see you as a creep, a snake oil salesman, and probably an abusive creep. And I'm not going to lie. I don't know about what you do in your pastime, but you have always gave snake oil salesmen to me, Larry the Lobster. And so that didn't make it any better. You know, it has solidified a lot of people's suspicions of you. And then the whole thing with the podcast. Now, mind you, some people are saying they took that what he said out of context. I don't really care, to be honest. Yeah, honestly, because I just saw that Margaret is doing Margaret did a podcast with 2 T's in a pod. And I just, at this point, because I know nobody is really coming back like that, or we don't know who's coming back, I don't care about what's going on in their lives anymore. I just don't. To the infamous scene at Rails. And I still feel the same way I did last time. Don't talk shit about somebody else's marriage and then cry when they talk shit about your husband's titties. And then it also confirms to me that Danielle is not that smart, because I just saw a clip of an interview where Rachel pretty much lets it be known that everybody knows that Bill got like chest surgery as well. And I'm like, if y'all all knew that that man had chest surgery, why didn't Danielle throw that back at Jennifer? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. You know that her husband has chest surgery. You're freaking out because your husband is insecure about his man titties. But then you lunge across the table like a puma to attack the lady. And I don't know. People, like I said, people that can fight but can't use their words. I feel the same way about the people that say people that have too much mouth and can't fight. Like, if all you can do is hit people and you can't use, like, you're stupid to me. Like, we're too grown to be fighting. You're too grown to be fighting. Like, you're on Housewives. It's Housewives. We watch you guys to see you read each other's for filth. If you knew Bill had already got the chest surgery, why didn't you throw it in that girl's face, Danielle, other than just lunging across the table? You look dumb. And I don't feel sorry for her, because you was talking shit. You were being nasty, and she got nastier. My thing, and I like, that is always what's been taught to me as a kid. If you gonna put your hands on somebody, whether it be man, woman, whoever, you have to be responsible for the repercussions afterwards, because you put your hands on them. Same way of speaking to somebody. If you're in a verbal disagreement and you say something that cuts that person and they decide to come back even harder to decimate you, how am I supposed to feel? Y'all are arguing. That's the point of an argument, is to disable your opponent. And that is what Jennifer did. She wound Danielle up so badly that lady lunged across the table and then went crying in the bathroom. It is what it is. So then you got Jennifer Fessler basically telling Danielle, I get you being upset, because honestly, if it was me, I would be upset too, but I wish you wouldn't have got violent. Then Danielle says, I wish I would have hit her more, or something like that. And then, and I was just like, see, Danielle, that's the problem. Because I, like, you, and then my thing is if this was old Housewives, yes, I'd be going up for Danielle. But since this is new Housewives and they're really trying to get away from the violent and all them lawsuits with the sexual stuff and things of that nature, I'm like, you're not playing your cards right. Like, if you want to be on TV, which it clearly looks like you want to be on TV based off of the way I've seen the blogs post your posts, then you have to be smarter about the way you attack certain situations. You could have definitely been like, you know what, man, and she ends up saying, yeah, I wish I wouldn't have gotten violent, like, or let somebody get me up to that. But I was already on one. It is what it is. I regret that. And then move forward. But to make that first little dig, I was like, yeah, girl, that's not a good look at this point. Like, you on Bravo. Now, if this was VH1, have at it. Okay, that's the home of Mob Wives, one of the best reality shows. but you're on Bravo, a network that is paying you a lot more, that you want to stay on, that is trying desperately to get away from all the bad press they have right now. Don't talk yourself out of a job, because that's what it feels like to me. So then they talk about the whole Jackie of it all. And then Margaret's talking about how Jackie is a clown and all of that stuff. You got Jackie in the room with Teresa being like she's full of it. It was just stupid. Honestly, it was stupid. We ended up seeing everybody like in their confessionals. Like they did like mini confessionals, kind of saying parting words. The words weren't really profound or deep or anything like that, other than Dolores saying, I hope this ain't the end. And I said, true, you might have a job. I don't know about everybody else. And then before the episode ended out, Rachel reveals that she's pregnant. I talked about that in the drama video, or one of the drama videos that I posted the other day. And, that was the end. So yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Apologies if my energy just didn't resonate with you, and for being irritated, but I'm irritated. I'm irritated. And it probably more than likely impeded the way that I viewed this episode, but it is what it is at this point. Yeah, like I said, it's been a challenging couple of days. But what I will say when it comes to this whole like reboot situation, like I said in my last review, where I was like, I would be okay with them doing a reboot, just get rid of Teresa and Melissa. And I think you have like a solid cast and then add in 2 new girls. But what I will say is, after watching this, I was like, I'm sick of everybody. I'm sick of everybody. Just give me a brand new like cast. And if they do a new cast, I wonder if the rumor, like I've been telling y'all about them all being wags, would be true. I think that would be a nice concept for this franchise, and to see like if that could work. You know what I'm saying? Because that is a different demographic. Like girlfriend and wives of athletes. I think that would be good. And like I said, I miss wags, so I'd be down for it. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe they should just reboot and do what they did with New York, because at this point, I don't feel like we can get anything else from any of these people besides Rachel and Danielle. But I think Danielle did herself a disservice with the whole family storyline, because it feels similar to Teresa and Joe's storyline. Rachel, I think you can, because, she just announced that she was pregnant. So she's going to be having her 3rd child. And that's going to be, they're going to have 4 kids in the house. Jennifer Fessler was new. I enjoy Jennifer Fessler. And my 2 girls, my 2 gutter snipes, which is Margaret, Margaret, Trout Mouth, Pigtails, Joseph, and New Nose Jennifer. But I don't feel like, as much as I enjoy both of them, I don't think we can get anything else out of them. Margaret really doesn't show that much about her life, and Jennifer don't got nothing going on. I don't really care about Melissa. I feel like Melissa doesn't add anything unless she's tied to Teresa, because it was really annoying. Like, that last episode kind of did it for me when it come to Melissa. Like, I'm not a Gorget, I'm not a tree hugger, but Melissa irritated me. The whole, like, it felt just like it reeked of desperation. Like, you were just trying to get in at the last minute. Kind of like people when you do a group project and all of a sudden they just want to add 2 sentences to the paragraph to say that they did input. That's what it felt like with Melissa. And honestly, Melissa didn't really have a storyline this season either, compared to anybody else. I feel like we've gotten all we can from Teresa. Now, I do think it would be in the network's best interest to keep Teresa around, but now to be a part of Real Housewives of New Jersey. I definitely, again, if they gave Tardy for the Party, like Kim and Croy, like 8 seasons, you could definitely give Teresa keeping up with the Juji, I don't know, with the Juji chase. Or I don't know, keeping up with Teresa. I don't know. I feel like you could do that and still get your fan base over there, because she has a very loyal following, okay? They don't play about her. But yeah, y'all, those are just my thoughts. That is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic, and definitely hop down in them comments below. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.